guys, my name is Connie Joy and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. And if you're not new here, welcome back and thank you for coming back. If you are new here and this is your first time watching a Liberated Fem video, you're going to want to go back and watch the very first Liberated Fem video. Not the intro, but the very first Liberated Fem video where I actually open up and start talking about my experiences. That video, I will leave it in the description box below in case you didn't see that, because I'm making these videos in order of the experiences that I had. So in order to understand this video, you're probably going to have to go back and watch the first video. That video is titled My First Conscious Childhood Memory Was Sexual Abuse. But I will link it in the description box below anyway, so you can find it. Before we get into the video, make sure you guys subscribe to my channel and make sure you hit the notification bell so every time that I upload a Liberated Fem video, you will get that notification. And I also have a lifestyle vlog here on my YouTube channel, and I also have a fitness and diet diary. My Love Your Body vlogs is my fitness and diet diaries, and I'm just beginning to get back into that. Those are gonna go up every Monday. And my Suburban Swag vlogs, which are my lifestyle vlogs, those go up every Wednesday. There's other things on my channel that you can probably also relate with and entertain yourself and enjoy. Okay, so let's get into the video. In this Liberated Fem video, we're gonna talk about the next foster home that I was in and what happened. Before we get into the video, I do want to forewarn you guys that this video is much more graphic than the first video, just because the abuse was more extreme. So it's going to be a lot more explicit than the very first video. And this is my first time talking about this out loud in detail, so bear with me if I lose train of thought or I space out. This is saying it out loud. It's different from when you think, when you say in your head, it's different. Saying it out loud and hearing your voice say it about yourself, it just kind of hits you differently. So I had to be around the age of maybe between 4 and 5. The second foster home that I remember, and this family, they were Caucasian. Because they didn't know much about African American children or their hair, they took it upon themselves to shave all of our hair off, of me and both my sisters, because they didn't know how to do it. So they shaved it all off. So in a lot of the photos that I do have from functions at the agency, the foster agency, a lot of the photos, me and my sisters look like little boys because our hair is all shaved off. I know their names. I don't know their last names. I don't know if I would get in trouble for saying their first names. We won't even say their names. I don't know their last names, but I still remember, like to this day, I still remember their names. And this foster home, my sisters were both at with me, and they remember their names. Like, we remember their names, so there is no question whatsoever. I strongly believe that we are capable of remembering back to the age of 3. I wholeheartedly believe in that. So science says it's so, and I definitely support that. So I won't say the names of this couple. I remember what their house looked like too. Where we stayed at, it was in an attic. I know it was an attic because like they had like those arches. So every single night before we went to bed, our foster mom at the time, she would sing, "He's got the whole world in his hands." That song still creeps me out. Like, it really creeps me out to this day. Like, I don't associate that song with something good. I remember that we had a lot of spaghetti at this foster home. We had spaghetti all the time, spaghetti and meatballs. And every night after dinner or with dinner, they would watch Gilligan's Island. I cannot stand this. I can't even stand this. The sound of the theme song just makes my skin crawl. The experiences that I had at that home were just so traumatic that everything that was associated in that experience is just like, I could never look at it again. That foster home specifically caused me to have PTSD. Anything that reminds me of that couple, anything, a smell, a sound, a song, it triggers me. It just takes me back to being there. And I hate it. So this foster family didn't have any children. It was just me and my sisters there. One day, I don't know where everybody was at, but I was home by myself with our foster father. And I remember I was laying on the bathroom floor, and the color of the tiles on the bathroom floor were checkered. It was black and white. I remember I could hear the sound of bath water running, like in the distance. I could hear bath water running. To this day, the sounds of this man's voice, the sound of his grunts and moans in my ear haunt me. It makes my skin crawl. It's so strange because when I think about what happened that day, I see myself watching it happen to myself. Watching from the outside looking in and trying so hard to stop something that I couldn't stop. Like I try to save myself when I think about it. When I think about that day, I envision myself as an adult, as a grown woman, watching myself as a child be abused, and I'm screaming, trying to get someone's attention to make it stop. This day, where I was home alone with a man who was my foster father at the time, he was giving me a bath. I remember that I couldn't feel my body at all. The more I talk about it, the more I remember. And that's when it happened. He raped me anally. And nobody was home but me and him. I remember this couple kept on promising us that they were going to take us to Disney World. And as a child, I actually held on to that for a long time because no one promised me that. So I believed it. As an adult, I realized that promising us Disney World was this bribery because your husband was raping us. Constantly being separated from my sisters and not identifying with any caregiver as my primary caregiver, it left me with abandonment issues. I felt the responsibility to keep the secret. I was very convinced that if I told or said anything, that I would be sent back. It makes me wonder now how many secrets my sisters have kept from me because they didn't want to complicate things. But the fact that we were constantly, we were given this responsibility. I was given this responsibility to keep these huge secrets a secret, and that me being in custody with my sisters was in jeopardy. That was a big responsibility for somebody to place on a child. So I felt like the weight of the world was always on my shoulders. Like I literally felt like a grown woman and I was a child. I had to constantly worry about everyone else's safety, everyone else's well-being, and I was just a child. But these abusive caregivers, these abusive foster families, they put that in my mind. They planted that in my mind. There were a number of things that could happen if I told the secrets, but anything that a predator can say to a child or somebody that they are interested in abusing, they're manipulators. And children are very easily manipulated. And with so much on the line, I did whatever I was told to do because I thought that I was protecting my sisters. I don't know how he swung this, but he separated me from my sisters and he violated me. And then I kept those secrets to protect my sisters because I didn't want them to get abused, and I also did not want them to be separated from me. That experience taught me how to keep secrets from my sisters. It taught me that I have to suppress everything and be strong, hold it all in, and that I have to be the strong one no matter how much it hurts. And I learned that before the age of 6, all because every time he would abuse me, he would separate me from them. Another thing that I developed at a really very young, immature age was my motherly instinct. Because I was constantly I was an easy target because I was always the smallest. I was the smallest one, so basically I was an easy target for predators. But because I was always threatened with them doing this to my sisters, or I was threatened with losing, being taken away and separated from my sisters, I felt like I was the oldest one, and I wasn't the oldest, but I felt like I had this, I had this big responsibility to protect them, and I've always felt like that. I've always felt like I had to be the responsible one, and that comes from always having been sexually abused and having the ultimatum always be, keep the secret or this is going to happen to your sisters. Keep the secret or you're not going to have your sisters, you're going to be separated. Keep the secret or they're going to be mad at you. Like, I was brainwashed to believe that if I didn't keep the secrets and let it happen, that I would disappoint my sisters, or I would lose my sisters, or I would be considered, problematic, which could mean that they would take me away and keep my sisters and I would be separated from them. And I was a little girl sacrificing my body to protect my sisters. And I just always felt like I have to protect them. No matter how much we fight, I always feel like I have to protect my sisters. And I've always thought I would rather happen to me than happen to my sisters. Whatever it is, I would rather have it happen to me. I would take the punishment for them so they don't have to experience anything like what I've been through. So, yeah. So, every day I understand a little bit more about my childhood, and it helps me understand who I am, and it helps me understand my sisters. And I know that with understanding, anything is possible.